Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. Today I wanted to go through and talk about my current top 5 TwoSun knives that I've got in my collection. I don't think any of these knives were over 150. Most of them were under 100. I will give you the actual model number of these. You guys can look them up. I buy my TwoSun knives at whitemountainKnives.com. If you happen to go there and find a TwoSun that you like, you can use the code at checkout, Juhvon10, Juhvon 10. It'll save you 10%. And guys, I want to thank my channel members from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And invite any of you that might be new here or just coming through or haven't thought about it yet, please hit that subscribe button down below. That bell notification icon would really help me out. Starting out with our TwoSun extravaganza today, or my favorite TwoSuns is, and I'm going to do this in order, even though it pains me because these are all great knives. Coming in at number 5, this is the TwoSun TS270. This knife is normally available, and I think it's available now in raw titanium. But if you can see here, it's got not only anodization, but you've got this deep milling on the clip, on this lower side, on the lock side here, smooth in the middle, heavy milling here, light milling here, and then smooth in the center. Very nicely done handle that comes together seamlessly. It's not an integral, but it is no displacement, comes together very nicely. There is no finger flipper on this knife unless you've got a super deep fingernail, and I wouldn't recommend it. It is a flicker knife, so you can either reverse finger flick it, you can thumb flick it if that's your jam, you can slow roll it out if that's your jam. It locks up very sturdily either way that you go about it, or any way that you go about it. You do have this titanium frame lock with this steel lock bar insert. So it does have a steel lock bar insert. This blade is a little unique. It's M390. Yeah, it's M390. I thought it was M398, but that must be a different blade. Looks like a Mokhtar design TS270 M390. All right, for some reason I thought that was M398, but it's M390. We will go with that. And just a really neat sheep's foot blade. It's got, I definitely say it's on the larger size of knives that I carry, but it's got a really comfortable choil that I can use. And with this finger swell, I can choke up in several different positions. I can use it with my finger. Since it doesn't have a lot of belly, it's great for detail cuts. It's great for, utility type cuts. And it's great for bearing down and slicing materials, right? I mean, it's a good cutter. I guess I should break out paper and we should try to cut with these knives, even though I haven't cut with them in quite a while. That went well, didn't it? Let's see. If I can get the paper to hold. Guys, I'm the world's worst at trying to show you guys how well a knife will cut. I assure you, this knife, even though it's a thicker, flat grind, it is very slicey. We'll keep that piece of paper off to the side for one of our other TwoSuns to cut with. But yeah, the TwoSun TS270 has drop shut action, operates on bearings, has a very nice deployment hole and a fuller around the deployment hole that allows you really to flick this knife from just about anywhere. If there is a negative to this knife, it would be that it's a little bit on the larger side. It's just a bigger knife, guys. Got the Civivi Baby Banter, and then in my pocket, I've got the full-size Liang Ma Field Duty. You can see it's longer than the Field Duty and much longer than the Baby Banter. So the only thing about the knife is the full-size knife. If you're looking for a full-size knife, and M390, I want to say this is about $149. Don't quote me to that. Just go check White Mountain Knives, check eBay, check Amazon, wherever you like to buy your TwoSun products. I would go to White Mountain Knives. I would use my code, save 10%. Great knife, great clip. Really, I almost wish that it wasn't anodized so you guys could really see the milling in this knife, but it's a banger. So that is number 5, the TS 270. Moving on, we come to a knife that's a little bit different than what I normally collect because I look at this as kind of futuristic in a way. This is the TwoSun TS 300. This knife is very angular, very futuristic, if you will, very Tesla-y, Tesla truck. It is in 14C 28N. It's got the finger deployment, which is kind of a theme in the knives that I like. So you can thumb flick it, you can slow roll it, or you can, like me, middle finger flick it. But it is another Mokhtar design, 14C 28N. I want to say this knife goes for around $100, $119, somewhere right in there. It is a nice stonewashed titanium handle with a steel insert for the lock bar. It has got this really nice Tonto blade that is a deep hollow grind here on the flat with a real strong splinter poker right there on the tip and on the front. So if we were going to look at this knife to cut with it, it's going to have different cutting characteristics back here than it will up front. But I assure you, both blades, this front flat, well, that's what it's made for, guys. Tearing into stuff, cutting through stuff. If you want to slice paper from Smoky Mountain Knives catalogs, I'd use the hollow grind. But very slicey knife. I'm not doing it justice. I like the look of the knife. I like the lines of the knife. I like the ergos of the knife because you've got this nice forward, not necessarily a finger choil, but you've got this natural place, even though I don't have jimping, to rest both my thumb and my finger right here. It's even angled out. You've got this really nice sharpening choil at the bottom of this flat grind. I sharpen this 2 different ways, 2 different angles, because it is a true Tonto, but it has been a joy. Should really be rated higher than number 4, but I'm going to leave it at number 4. It's got great lock bar access, nice standoffs, a really good clip, and just a joy of a knife to carry. One of my favorite Tontos that I currently have, and I've got some really cool ones. It's definitely in the top 5. So moving on, we will go to one that should also be much higher in this list. This is a Colin Mason Pierre design. It is the TS 319. It is probably one of my favorite TwoSuns, and it's so anti everything that I kind of like in knives, and I don't mean anti. It's got a really short blade, which comes in right around 3 inches, maybe about 2 3/4 on the cutting edge. It's in 14C 28N. It is just a banger of a knife to grip. It feels like it was made for my hand, which brings me to the thing that you would think I wouldn't like about a knife like this. It's got a thicker handle. It's an inset liner lock with some of the snappiest detent, and you can grab this fuller and just barely flick it anywhere from the top of the fuller to the very bottom of the fuller, and it is going to blast out. From the middle of the fuller, it's just got the best detent of any TwoSun knife in my collection. I think it was designed to be a beast, and it absolutely is. It's got nice thick blade stock. It's got nice milling around the titanium handle here. This kind of a stonewash gray with this inset carbon fiber. And guys, I want to say this knife came in somewhere around $120 when I bought it. It comes in stock every now and then, and it's one I can definitely recommend. The clip works great. Colin, the smart half of DVO Knives, designed this knife a while back, and it is literally splendid. I've heard it's not one to take apart from my buddy Grateful Panic. He took his apart, had a hard time getting it all set back together, so I'm not taking this one apart. Don't plan to, but don't need to because it works flawlessly. And that's the TwoSun TS319. It's coming in at number 3, which brings us to number 2, which is from Chris Reeves Knives that I've handled that my buddies have. this is probably the most Chris Reevey feeling knife when it comes to action, not looks. And the thumb studs are actually good. But this knife is hydraulic, it's tight, its tolerances are so tight, which I don't know a better way to give that word. It's on washers, I think. Maybe on bearings. I can't tell. We'll call it bearings, but I think it's on washers. Anyway, it's got super nice milling, all multi-directional milling in this titanium handle. It's got this lanyard loop for those of you who like lanyards. It's got deep milling on the inside to relieve weight in this knife. I think it is on ceramic bearings. I could be wrong. It's got a nice deep detent. It's got a fantastic clip that works very, very well. It's a night morning design. It is in D2, and it is the TwoSun TS 269. But from a knife that flicks open at will, closes like a dream, has fantastic lockup right here. I can slow roll it, but it wants to lock up once I break that detent. I mean, it literally wants to lock up. So this is my number 2 in my TwoSun game, and it's the TS 269. Yes, it's in D2. It is a fantastic knife. The ergos are next level. The milling in the handle is something to behold. And the price on this knife, I want to say, was 99 bucks. You can't lose with it. You put a 10% discount on that, you save another 9 bucks. It's a winner. Takes me to number 1, guys. The big, beefy TwoSun night morning designed TS 346 in D2 that is definitely on washers. But locks up like a bank vault. It's a frame lock, steel insert. All this is dark washed titanium with a fantastic clip. It has got this huge D2 blade, which I can slow roll out. I can use the fuller to thumb flick it or roll it if you like to do that. It's a big knife, so for me, I just middle finger flick it. And I have to give it a little bit of wrist just because it's got so much mass behind it. But the grip on this knife is for definitely a larger hand, but it fits my hand perfectly. I could use this knife as a daily driver. I could use this knife as a heavy use camping knife. I can use this knife to work with, and I can use this knife just to carve with. I mean, whatever I need to do. If I'm breaking down cardboard, if I'm cutting paracord, if I'm hard using it around the campsite, this knife is a beast. It even comes with a pin that you can screw into this when it's opened to further lock it out, so you don't have to worry about this really beefy lock bar that I don't worry about failing. If you worry, you can put a little locking bar through there that's got a little dangler on it. I'm not big into that kind of stuff, but this knife is designed to be hard used. And this knife, I think, will live up to the hard use challenge. So guys, that's number 1. That's the TwoSun TS 346. We had the TwoSun TS 269. We have the awesome little TS 319 from Colin. We have the TS 300 Tonto. And then we have the TS 270. Mine happens to be anodized. Yours doesn't have to be, but they are available that way. Guys, I'm a big fan of TwoSun knives. I can recommend any of these 5 knives because they've stayed in my collection. I'm a big fan, again, of TwoSun knives for no other reason than I think I get a good value for the knife that I'm buying. Is it the strongest heat treat? I don't know. Is it quality, fit, and finish? Absolutely. Do I enjoy the knives? They make me feel good when I carry them. I'm stoked. Do they cut the shit I need them to cut? Every time. So, guys, I love you all. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you if you've been so inclined to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that more than you know. I appreciate my channel members more than you know. And all that I ask is that all of you please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for that guy or gal to your right. Please look out for one another. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.